And welcome back to the show. Holly Love, Trip Mitchell. And now in our News You Can Use segment, something that is really gaining attention. And it's kind of scary. And why don't you talk a little bit about genetically modified food?
So there's a company up in Ogden that makes basically supplements of all kinds, from minerals to herbs and all of that. They're called trace minerals, and they're talking about how they're going through this process to be able to label as being non-GMO or genetically modified food, which is, they started doing this a while back on a tomato. It was the first thing they did to make it taste better, increase the shelf life. It means they're adding anything from animal DNA, plant DNA, bacteria, viruses to foods to help make them last longer, taste better. It's really crazy. And you've been eating it and you don't know it because they don't have to label it. In every other country, well, like 64 countries, they have to label if they genetically modify food. But here they don't have to yet. But like Whole Foods, one of your favorite places to go, they are demanding that their vendors go through this really strict process where they just have everything scrutinized to make sure, because even if you're selling beef, it could be they've been fed genetically modified grains. So it's like, man, you can get it from anything.
It sounds scary, but food experts that I see say you don't have anything to worry about.
Of course.
That being said, they might work for Monsanto.
And DuPont, all these crazy chemical company names, which makes me think of, remember when cigarettes were safe? I mean, I just have to say, it's kind of where hormones and all of those things out there, it's very scary to me.
I love to listen to old radio shows, the old Jack Benny shows, and literally they'll have ads on there where a doctor comes on and said that Chesterfield cigarettes are safe. And so it is scary, you know, and some of the other, like cell phones, can you talk too long on them?
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll know. We will not know the effects of it for years to come.
The good news is your third ear is very attractive.
Is it?
And that's why that nice long hair kind of...
I know, I placed my hair perfectly so you wouldn't be able to see it. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about college and remedial classes. How do you feel about those?
Here is the challenge. I feel very strongly about community colleges need to step their game up.
Okay.
Because right now what's happening is that the cost of colleges and universities has gotten so insanely expensive.
Yes.
You know, higher end schools, $75,000 to $80,000 a year. And in many cases, kids graduate without a discernible skill.
Yeah.
And what the economies around the world that are doing better than us have a vocational training. And by that I mean kids go to a good high school. Germany in particular has a great program. And then these kids go out and they work with industries. But they graduate from high school, go to a vocational school that's tied into, let's say, Mercedes or BMW, and learn discernible computer skills to manufacture and to be able to really work and make a good living. And that's an area where I think the combination of high school systems and the community colleges probably don't work well enough together.
And it's not that you don't enjoy learning from these other classes, but it's just, it's stuff you really don't need. And when you're taking out loans from the government in order to pay for school, and you're spending most of your financial aid taking classes that have absolutely nothing to do with what you're going to do in life, that's a little painful. Or you're paying off a loan like me, a student loan that's like, you know, 20 grand. For 20 years after school to take those things, then it just doesn't really make sense.
I have a friend of mine who went to USC, the University of Spoiled Children.
Oh.
About $60,000 a year in Southern California, and his dad looked at his transcript one time and said, I am paying $3,500 for you to take a scuba class at USC when you could be taking the same class at the Y for $300.
I know, continuing education. Save those for after you graduate and you're bored and you want to go hang out.
And the community college here, Salt Lake Community College and around the system, take advantage of that. You don't need to go to some of these specialty schools, except for the Art Institute, where we have some wonderful people.
Love the Art Institute.
Art Institute's the best. But some other schools like Cordon Bleu, there's some cooking schools where you can get all the training you need at a community college, so much less expensive. And then you go to, you know, UNLV in the case of in Vegas to learn the final parts of restaurant management. But you've got to be smart when it comes to education, because so many people waste so much money there. And right now, in this day and age, it's unfair to have kids start their work career with a $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 student loan that they have to pay off.
It's harsh. It's super harsh.
Do you think that we need to have a longer school year and a longer school day?
I don't think so. I don't think a longer school day. I think it's just working smarter, not harder. Because attention spans, I don't think you can keep kids in there. I used to teach ballet, and I've taught about every age that there is. And, you know, I don't think it's about elongating how long we have them sitting in the desk. It's about the time we spend teaching them, make sure it really counts. I think that's where we need to do. But okay, so I could talk with you forever about this, but we're going to jump to a break and we'll be right back after this.